got to hit record, so make sure we have content for Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips YouTube channel. The Clips channel, where you can see all the cool clips that we do. And if you're going, wait a minute, what is that? Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips?
That's right.
That's another YouTube channel?
That's a thing?
Yes, that's a second YouTube channel.
That's a thing?
Third for me, but second for sure. And it has all these cool, like, 2 to 3 minute clips. Wow, right off the bat with a question. For 2016 Prius, if you change the radio, does the factory backup camera work on the top screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can. You can retain it.
Yeah, should still work.
Yep.
Shouldn't be an issue.
No problem.
Never had an issue in the past.
And actually, we have a video on that.
On the Prius?
Yes.
We do?
Yeah.
Good news to me.
Good memory, right?
I didn't even know we had that one.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, all week. Yeah, I think for that one, yeah.
What's up, David?
What's up for Cincinnati, dude? So I got it. So John sent me a picture.
John what?
Niedermeyer.
Okay.
We were just talking about. Sent me a picture of it snowing at his house.
Wow.
Because he's up there by Indy.
Yeah.
And then
Jason
Fro's house.
What's up, Jason?
Sent me
Jason
a
right
picture
here.
of it snowing at his house.
I told Dean.
It's snowing.
I told Dean just send a picture to Jason with the Sunny.
Sunny.
The Sunny.
Sunny, not Sony.
Sunny.
Yeah, Sunny.
Sunny outside.
Sunny.
Detroit, Alabama.
What's up from Alabama? So apparently you guys have some cold weather going through, which
That's right.
we are not having at all. We're desperately hot. And
all right.
There was a moment today where we were like, is the air even on?
Ismael, of course, like, Dean is going to pick the Maximus components.
No, that's not even the case. The T1s aren't they're T2s, yes. T2s all day long. T1s, I don't know. We're not a big fan. Just never a big fan.
I mean,
of
honestly,
T1s.
if you want mid bass, like really good mid bass, Kenwood 7-inch
on the budget.
Yeah.
On the yeah. But dude, those Maximos, man, those are tough to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, plus they sound good. But
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
I made it.
Panama. Now I want to run because I want to listen to Van Halen.
Ranger. What
Pay
T
for the
harness do
North
I
Pole.
need for a T harness?
What T harness do I need for a Ford Ranger with Sync 3? I'm thinking that's still the current one. I wonder what I did with that one. I had one of those over here.
What's up, David?
Oh, here it is. Yeah, so this is it here. So this should be the one here,
Bobby.
which is I'm pretty sure it's still this harness, which because it's a
from
newer
Canada.
Ford, but I think it's still using this one. The best bet is to take the radio out, obviously take a picture of it. This one is the Access T harness for Ford. If it looks anything like that or this, which I know this is really crappy, but then this is the one you get from Access.
The Kenwood 6x9 components, they're awesome.
Ooh, yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. You got a 2.5, or a 2 and a whatever, and a 3.5. Those are really nice. I like them. I like the 3.5 better because you get a tweeter and a mid-range and a 6x9, so it's like a three-way component set. The 2.5 uses just a
Saludos, Jose.
middler, as they're called.
Middler.
Yeah, it's like a tweeter middler.
What's up, Joe?
It's like tweeter / mid-range.
Mm-hmm.
What's up from Texas?
Texas in there.
Hi guys, does the mini amps make weird noises? I have an MVX, so no, they don't. None of at least the ones we use don't make weird noises. I mean, every now and then we'll get a weird noise because like the fan will get like crap in it and it'll get really ramped up and get loud and we'll hear that noise.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it. What's up from California?
Kali.
Is there a T-harness for a Honda Pilot 2nd generation?
T-harness, you gotta go and check.
So MetroOnline.com is really the place where you're going to find most of your T-harnesses.
Yeah, Access and the Access line.
Through the Access. Now, keep in mind, if you don't find a T-harness, they also make the harnesses that plug in the radio, which are, their numbers is like a 70- and a 71 .. The 70 harness and the 71 harness are the male and female ends. So essentially it is...
What's up, Arizona?
It is, you know, this end here that would plug into the factory harness, and this end here, this would be the 71 that would plug into the back of the radio. The one thing you have to keep in mind is the 71, the one that plugs in the back of the radio, will typically always have all the wires coming off of it. The 70 side, not so much. So sometimes you have to buy two 70s to make a complete wiring harness with all the wires like this all pinned in. we'll take two 70s, pin them all in, match them up to the 71, and we'll make a T-harness that way if there isn't one available. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, too, is that
Robert Hoyt, what's up, buddy?
Idata started making the D harnesses, so anything that has a D in it, and they have these for Nissan and I think Toyota and maybe a Honda. So there again, you can go to either metroonline.com or you can go to idata.com/maestro and see what's available to you. And if you have no luck whatsoever in that, of course, you can always go into Amazon and do a search for a Bluetooth harness, a Bluetooth T harness for the make model of your car. That would be what we used previous to all these cool guys making this stuff.
All right, Ernesto, tengo un Civic 19 con audio control LC7i, puedo poner un DSP sin eliminarlo. Sí, tú puedes utilizar un DSP, pero prácticamente reemplazaría el LC7i. El LC7i prácticamente no lo vas a necesitar por el DSP que ya vas a tener.
So I should cut that clip out for the 5 minutes of 5-star?
That would be
or
good, yeah.
Not 5 minutes of 5-star. Dean and Fernando's car stereo clips. That's right, guys. Thank you so much last week for getting us and subscribing.
That's
this
right.
Week is going to be no different. We're going to ask you to head over, if you haven't done it yet, it's Dean and Fernando's car stereo clips. But before we get to all that, which we'll have a picture up here in a little bit. You guys have been asking about the shallow mount new kicker subwoofers.
Yeah.
And Fernando already has on his cool new shirt, by the way, which you can find at teespring.com/store/5-star. We have the cool little 5-star logos are the flags. I had to make an American flag to make this logo. So it's really cool, and then I had to throw most of it away anyways. I'm patting myself on the back. It was a lot of work on a Saturday night.
Oh, you're welcome.
Anyways, what we have today to show for the show and tell portion of the show, and don't worry, we'll get back to Q&A.
Yep.
Is the new down-firing kicker enclosures with one of my personal all-time favorite subwoofers in it. Let's rotate this up.
Yep.
This is the new Kicker Comp RT down-firing enclosure. Let me brighten this up just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So we're going to be washed out, but that way you can see these better.
You can see this.
This has the 8-inch. Now inside the box, which you kind of can see, as you can see, there's a brace right here, and then there's another brace right here that has a bunch of holes in it. There is foam insulation on top of the speaker wires going into it, and of course we have the cool passive radiator, which we'll talk about more in a minute. We'll get to the sizes too. You know what? Let's just use the tape measure because that didn't work out so well.
You have
I
it?
got one right here.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a shout out real quick. Hang on. What's up, Christian? David, what's up, buddy? And X-Man, how you guys doing?
All right, so the overall length of the 8-inch, it's 23.5 inches long. It is 5.5 inches tall, and it is 12 inches deep. And that is your 8-inch.
Yep.
Moving on to the 10-inch, this one still has the passive radiator inside of it. These are all 2-ohm, by the way, and all have between 300 to 600 watts of power handling. Let's set this on its side. Now the gap for underneath this is it's a 1 1/8 inch gap off of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
The 10-inch comes in at 25.5 by 13.25 by 5 5/8 ish. Now these things are built strong. So for example, one of the things you could do is put all your stuff on top of them. You can, yay, look at me, I'm dancing on top of it. So you can have a lot of fun. You don't have to worry about, like, you can put groceries and fun stuff like that on top of these. This is the dual 12-inch with the passive radiator. So you have, so for those of you that are going, what? This is a passive radiator right here. And now these are available for sale, which, there again, we'll talk about that in a second. So you have one Comp RT subwoofer, and you have the one passive radiator that's tuned. Now why you do a passive radiator is because these boxes are too small to port, the passive radiator will act like a port, and it's weighted to replicate a specific frequency that this box is then tuned to, so you can get optimum amounts of bass out of this small style enclosure.
Yep.
Now the 12, which we both know is going to be the most popular one, we're looking at 27.5 inches. It's 6 1/8 inch tall. and it's 14.5 inches deep. We've already done these, and these things sound incredible. Now keep in mind, you can also do a lot of so let's say you have a flatbed pickup truck, and this is the wall of the pickup truck here. You can mount this up against the wall of the pickup truck, and this would be your seat, and then you'd still have the sound. Instead of front firing it to where the seat is here, backfire it off of the rear wall. Of course, sound treatment so it doesn't buzz and vibrate.
Yep.
That way the subwoofer has a clean output instead of pounding into 6 inches of foam. Okay, now let's talk about the passive radiators for a minute, because the passive radiators, let's slide this forward.
All right.
The passive radiators are available this year. Let me fix this. For you guys to buy. So if you want to make your own Comp RT box, well, guess what? You can. There's no restrictions anymore. You can just have a lot of fun with them. Hold on 1 second. Let's do this guy here.
1 second.
Turn this on.
Yeah, I'm gonna move this.
Hit enter.
Perfect. Get closer.
I'm gonna get closer. I'm gonna move us in. If you want to do an 8-inch, like this guy right here, the 8-inch, the passive radiator, you can buy it. It's tuned to 49 hertz. Your box needs to be 0.4 cubic feet of internal airspace. And then you can build any size, anything you want, just so you have that amount of airspace. It'll tune the box, just like a port, to 49 hertz. If you want to do the 10-inch, same basic idea, half cubic foot of airspace, it'll be tuned to 41 hertz with a 10-inch passive radiator. So if you're wondering what those boxes that we just showed you are tuned to, it's the same thing. They're just showing you how to build your own. The 12 is 0.7 cubic feet of airspace, and it's going to be tuned to 34 hertz. Because remember, these act just like a port and allow you to tune your box. The reason why you're going to go with one of these is because you don't have room for a port. All right. Let me move this out of the way so that the screen can go back to normal for a minute. Let the white balance refocus.
White balance. Oh. Okay.
It's going to take a minute. Canon, man. It's not the fastest thing in the world. Oh, it's still too bright.
Hey, all right, so real quick, Joe Terrell. Okay, that I'm saying, I'm probably saying it wrong. Joe Terrell, $4.99 from Joe. Thank you so much, man.
That's right. What a guy.
All right, and he has a question.
All right, let me move this. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I have tweeters, center channel, and all 4-door speakers. What do I need to amp all 7 channels?
So okay. The center channel is going to be the strange one, because it depends what you're trying to do as far as whether you need a center channel or not. If you're going to go, let's say, DSP full active, then a center channel might not be necessary, in which case you could just do a 6 channel, which is where I would start.
Right.
Because if you're going to do a center channel, you need to have some form of an up mixer to take care of that. The other thing, too, is do you need to go active on your front stage? Perfect device to do something like this would be this guy right here, the Helix DSP Mini. If you want to retain your center channel, what you could do is this has 6 channels of output. So you have front, 1 and 2, rear, 3 and 4, 5 is subwoofer, 6 is center channel. This has an up mixer built into it, so you still only need a 6-channel amplifier to power everything, because your front components, you're going to be using the passive crossovers to deal with those, which is perfectly fine and acceptable, but then this will take care of everything else and give you that up mix center channel. Now, there again, center channel, not necessarily the most important thing in the world. If you just do a standard, let's say 5-channel amplifier or 6-channel amplifier DSP, when you're doing time alignment for the driver, if you get it set up properly, we'll emulate a center channel, just because everything is going to arrive at your head on time, and then the sound will come like it's coming out of the center of the dash. The only advantage of doing this is if you're worried about the passenger's experience, you're going to be building what's called a 2-person car as opposed to a 1-person car.
Or 2-seat car.
2-seat car, 1-seat car. But This is an extremely reasonable processor. And there again, with this, if you don't want to do the center channel, you don't have to. You could actually do active front, active front, sub, and no rear.
Yeah.
But something to think about.
All right, Kyle Russian, thank you so much. $4.99. Kyle has a question.
Go ahead.
Kyle says, good evening. I sent you an email through your website about 2 weeks ago. Any chance to respond?
Probably not.
Probably not.
We don't actually ever see that.
We don't ever see that. If you have a question right now, this is the time to ask. You can type it in here and we can answer your question, Kyle.
Yeah, we don't necessarily.
Website.
Depends what website. So if you send it to the website, that goes to Paul. That doesn't go to us.
Yeah.
And there again, even if you put it on, yeah, it's
okay. So, and this is the reason why we do 2 live shows every week. Mondays on Facebook at 6:30, and Saturdays like today at 6 o'clock. So you guys can type a question and we can answer it live right now.
Using the LC 4.800 for rear. All
right.
Scroll up here. No down. Go down. Right
Here?
there. Using the LC 4.800 for rear doors and rear D pillars. What do you recommend for the D pillar in my H2 Hummer? What is this?
D pillars.
D pillar would be all the way in the
all
back.
the way in the back. Oh.
So why? Okay, using LC for rear doors and rear D pillar. Okay,
So
so that's what you're going to use. Then what are we recommending? Anything?
I'm guessing like speakers.
Oh, for the little
Speaker
2.5
size?
in the back, maybe. Speaker for the rear D pillar. I would go with the. So it's a 3.5 or a 2.5. I mean, you could do the new kicker. I'm sorry, the new.
KS. Yeah.
No, they're not available yet, so we can't play in fiction yet. No, I was going to say you could go with the new Kenwoods.
You can go with the new
3.5
Kenwoods.
inch Kenwood Exelons. Yeah. So there we go.
All right.
Are the dash kits for the 20s, 13, 17 Hondas? Okay, I got guys that say they work. I got guys that say they don't work. Personally, what I like to do on those Hondas is buy the Scotch kit, which is just the trim, and then make a T-harness out of cutting and lengthening wires and put the actual radial brain in the glove box. Okay, so you can actually pull the whole silver portion of the radio just out of that. So you can take off your air vents, you can take off the whole front panel, and mount the air conditioner or mount the radio in the glove box. There's 2 harnesses: the main power harness, which needs to have accessory constant 12 volts, ground, and illumination on it. And there again, you can buy like the access piece, the 70 and the 71 harness to make a reverse harness. But then there's a third harness which goes up to the screen, which you do have to cut. I think it has like 4 or 5 wires on it. You have to cut and lengthen them over. And then you can mount the radio in the glove box. That'll allow you to keep everything up in the top working the exact way you need to. There's 2 little buttons on the face of the radio that are still there, that are just the little diaphragms that you can press for like setting the clock and stuff. But that's what we do, and it works phenomenally.
All right, Rick Dawson, thank you so much for the $10.
Man.
I just put the pictures above. All right, I just purchased an Addison 8.9, I'm sorry, the bit, to run my Boche 3-way active with the Prima 8-inch. Will this be a deal, or should I get the 81 to power the sub?
Yes, you should get the 81 to power the sub,
Yes.
or one of the new SR amplifiers. So they now have an SR amplifier that is, but it's an 8-inch though? 8-inch is fine. So what he's talking about,
check it out, guys,
is the Vorsa amplifier here, which is, it's basically a 9-channel DSP. It's 8 channels of power built into the amplifier. So if I was running this, I would run channel 1 and 2 to tweeter, 3 and 4 to mid bass, 5 and 6 to the passenger front mid bass, and 7 and 8 to the driver's mid bass, because they're going to need more power. And then it has a 9th output here. And what you could run that to is this, what he's talking about, which is the AP1D, which is the smaller brother. This is the 500 watt mono, which is designed, has 1 input.
Yeah.
It's designed to pair up with this amplifier, or they also make the step down from this, the little brother, which is half the power, which is the regular Prima amplifier that's the same exact size and stackable. But running these two amplifiers, and yes, that would be phenomenal for that type of system. That'll allow you to get your premium sound, and yeah, do that.
All right, Angelo, Angelo, I have a T-style radio and a 2019 Chevrolet Silverado. What do you recommend to complete my system and amp the speakers? Well, definitely a DSP. You're definitely gonna need a DSP because those radios, they don't have a good sound.
No, they sound like crap.
Yes.
I mean, so, you know, every one of those guys that we've talked to has said, yeah, sound quality really isn't our thing, so...
Hey, Bobby.
You know, you can get something as simple as like a Rockford DSR-1.
Correct.
For, you know, extremely reasonable price point, all the way up to whatever you want to, DM608 or any DSP in between. Or you could just go into amplifiers that have DSPs built into them, like the Audison we just looked at, that has the full DSP built on board. So, and for those of you that are like new to the whole DSP world, what are we talking about? Well, the DSP is equalization for each channel. So like that is a 9-channel DSP, so there's 9 equalizers built into it. That is a parametric EQ as opposed to a graphic EQ. Parametric is smaller bands. I think that is a 10 or 15 band. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I think it's 10 band. And why it's only 10 band is because you have adjustable center points, so you can pick which group of frequencies you want, and then you can adjust the Q, which is the width of left and right, and then your volume, of course. So EQ, very important. Then you have selectable level control, meaning you can go in and adjust all 9 levels in that particular piece, but all DSPs will give you the ability to go in and do level control. Most of them in pairs, meaning both fronts, or left front, right front, so individual. Most, you know, you want individual. Then you have time alignment, the ability to go in and adjust for delay or delay alignment, whatever you want to call it, so that you take your farthest speaker out and then you add delay to all these closer speakers so that every speaker is at, in theory, the same distance away from you so that you then get imaging towards the center of the vehicle. And then, of course, last but not least, the crossover. And the crossover is there so that you can limit the performance of the driver so that you don't blow them up.
All right, I have this one right here. Hang on. DJ Ron.
In the house.
Yes.
Dropping to $5.
$5. All right. Would the DSR-1 improve the sound from the 8201 and the T404, powering the T2 6.5 and the T16692 will make a difference with the sound quality?
Funny you should ask. If you caught any of the 5 Minutes with 5-Star this week on Instagram, guess what we did? We had a Pioneer 8400, or I'm sorry, was it 8200? Yeah, it was a Pioneer 8200.
8200. Shout out to Shalom. Thank you. Thank you. $5.
There we go. Let's do this. Okay. So anyways, as I was saying, we had your channel. Go there. Let's do this. All right, hold on. I'm sorry, I'll answer that question in 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Anyways, on the STI Subaru WRX that we had this past week that we got to work on, he had the 8200 in his dash, and we put all that Scar Audio stuff in it, and what we also added was a DSR-1, because the DSR-1 gave us the ability to go in and really put an EQ to it. So we had 31 bands of equalization to address our front stage. And thank God we did, because it allowed us to go in and really make that system sound phenomenal. I'm not a loudspeaker guy, as you guys know, but by the time we got done with this, both Fernando and I were going, man, I'm not going to rethink this, but man, this is really nice. So you have 13 bands of equalization built into your Pioneer. That's it. It's global. Whatever you adjust to fix this corner, you're going to adjust to fix every other speaker in the car. Well, what if they don't have those problems? Then that sucks. You're not fixing anything. With the DSR-1, as we just said, you can go in and you have an EQ just for that corner. So by all means, pick up a DSR-1. You'll be happy.
All right. Thank you, Tony. All right. Habib, 11. Just drive $499. Going to install a 10 Solveric Okay. What speaker should I go with? The Hertz DG 165.3 or the Morel Maximus? And what amplifier?
So I'm not okay. So the DGs are very efficient speakers. Okay. So and I think they're kind of on opposite sides of the price point. Well, I think the Maximals are a little bit more expensive. What you're looking at, those two characteristically different style speakers.
Yeah.
The DG is going to be a lot brighter, a lot livelier, but not as detailed as the Morel. The Morel is going to have more detail, more realistic sound to it. There again, it's not a good or bad thing.
No.
It's just a little bit different sound. So like I had a guy come in today that was like, I listened to trance or some, that Transformer love music, as I like to call it. And he was talking about Morel, and I was like, you're really talking about the wrong speaker for that type of music. You want something that has a tweeter that just crushes it, and the Morel's really not going to do that. It's going to be more lifelike, more natural, and that type of music doesn't play well with that.
Yeah.
No, it's just a cold.
Yeah,
it's called going into a room with a bunch of smokers and playing pool. Totally messes you up.
Yeah.
And plus we have high pollen count.
All right, we gotta
go. Hold on. I gotta. Okay, so now an amplifier to power both of them. You want to look for something that is a reasonably sized 4-channel amplifier. There's a ton to choose from. If you end up going Morel makes a nice 4-channel amplifier, extremely reasonably priced. Hertz also has 4-channel amplifier that's extremely reasonably priced. If you want to go away from both of those, they're again depending on the budget. Maybe check out a Kenwood Exelon.
All right, Husky CDN, thank you. He just dropped $10. How would you time align dual sub that are of one channel separate by 4 feet? Average is 2. Go off to the closest one. Get in from Canada.
Well, okay, so regardless of where the subwoofers are at, first off, you'd have to have a DSP that has 6 channels of independent DSP. So probably going to need something with 10 channels. And meaning you can't have your subwoofers on mono channels. So in order to time align a speaker, it has to be on its own channel. So you'd have to have a left amplifier and a right amplifier, then that could be done. If you have a mono subwoofer amp, and you're trying to time align, remember, you're trying to time align not left and right for the subwoofer, you're trying to time align to the front of the vehicle. So what I would probably do is I would just think of them as one big mass, and I would do it audibly. I would start with the one that's farthest away and use that as... Actually, would I? Yeah, no, I would probably start with the closest one. But then what I'd be doing is I would be playing polarity pops with the subwoofer and adjusting the distance as the polarity pops are going. I mean, that pop, pop, pop sound, you can actually use that to do time alignment. And I'd be listening for it to pop, and as it would come forward, I would stop. So I would be actually using my ears to do the time alignment on that and not the tape measure. When we had Brian Mitchell on, this is his preferred way of doing that. He measures just to get in the ballpark, but then he uses polarity pops to adjust for delay and how far something should actually be. So what you'd have is you have pop, 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 and what you'll hear is you're sliding as your subwoofer moving forward. Now keep in mind, if your overall purpose for your subwoofer is volume, I mean you just want it to be loud, doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to matter, because as soon as you gain up the subwoofer volume, the time alignment for those goes out the window. It doesn't matter. So it would be one of those situations like you would align them at a certain volume so that when you're demoing your car, if that is an important thing, great. But then as soon as you go to like, let's take our pants off and go crazy, you're going to be cranking it up.
All right. Thank you, Kevin Nolan. $5. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to Antonio Galvan, $4.99. Craig Gunn Spencer. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. I have a 2000. Thank you for the $10. I have a 2003 GTI with a missing amplifier and cut up radio harness and speaker connection. Should I try to restore the factory system, or should I run new wires and get an aftermarket amplifier? I just buy the ILX 207.
I mean, personally, if it's that bad, I would probably just start from scratch and do my own thing. An aftermarket amplifier, you could get into something, you know, like a small 5-channel or a 4-channel for not a lot of money, and just go from there. What we run into a lot of times is when we get into like behind a radio, if there's no factory harness, we'll order in the right factory harness, the right 71 harness from Metra, and reinstall that, just because I feel that one is the most important. If it's still there, we'll solder it back together. If there's no harness whatsoever in the car at all, then typically we'll just grab something that has the right amount of wires on it and solder it in, just so we have some way to remove that harness and work on it outside of the car if you ever decide to upgrade. I don't necessarily feel like you have to run your own speaker wires. If there's speaker wire, I mean, if it's easy enough to do, by all means, run new speaker wires. However, just because the amp harness is cut doesn't mean you can't use the existing speaker wires in the back to go to a new amplifier. If you get a small enough amplifier, something like a Kicker Key or an Alpine 455U or something along those lines, sometimes you can actually use the existing power wire to power those small footprint amplifiers and just solder it in and go.
All right, Derek Easter. Like I say, sorry if I said it wrong. $5. Thank you so much. I have 2 batteries done. Done the big 3 and running 5,000 watts. When should I upgrade my alternator?
Now.
Now, yeah, exactly.
Now. Definitely want to upgrade your alternator. You know, if they make an alternator for your car, it's definitely the way to go. But the one advice I always get everyone is that if you can't figure out how to do it yourself, you're going to have to rely on someone else. Now, most of these guys are building much better alternators than we had in the past. However, I feel that's one of those things that you should be able to do on your own if you're planning on going that direction. If not, then what I recommend is Stinger makes a really big power inverter that is designed to be mounted in a car and charge batteries, and do it where you plug it in at nighttime and have it top off all the batteries while you're sleeping, and that works as well too, because all you're trying to do is get as much current to these as possible. Now, if you're going to be sitting in a parking lot for hours on end, if you're not parked to something where you can plug in, then the alternator is a better idea.
There you go.
Real quick, the difference between a ported box and a ported tube, nothing. They're both ported boxes. One's just round, and you could possibly get cone noise or port noise, but you could get out of a tube anyways, or a round. Yeah, so it's all good.
And another $5 for the DJ Rondeau. Yeah, the DJ. Thank you. You ever thought of selling pre-cut amplifier racks like you did on the 2019 Camry?
The reason why we haven't done that yet is because most of them, for one, we don't keep the measurements because we're not that smart.
No, we're not.
And 2, we don't have an easy way to replicate them. Most of the time when we're building those, it's like, we gotta hurry up. So we actually have to build 2.
Yeah.
At some point, the plan is to, that we don't have any room for it, is to buy a CNC where we design all that stuff in you know, software, and then we just hit a button and it spits it out. Yeah. Once we get to that point for those things, then yeah, it would make sense to do it.
And now keep in mind, sometimes we use different equipment. So you put the amplifier like this, you put the amplifier like this. So sometimes the racks can be a little bit longer than the other ones.
It's hard to just come up with a generic.
Yeah. We don't want to sell something that's not going to fit in your car.
Because then we got to do that whole shipping thing, and it's like,
I want my money back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sent me the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Love the channels. Thank you guys. Do you know if Kicker plans on, scroll down for me real quick?
More?
Well, one more. Plans on updating the Q speaker line this or next year?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, I do know something, but nothing that we can talk about. But
and now that we talk about the channels, now is the time to promote this channel. This is the Car Stereo, Dean and Fernando Car Stereo Clips. Go and subscribe. This is gonna be a ton of information over here. Little questions, real quick, so you can go type it.
So like all the questions you just asked that we've banged through, that won't be able to be searchable, or you won't be able to go back and watch it. We're going to cut those up. Right now there's 69 videos on there. I don't know how I ended at that number,
this
but
is
there's
the
69.
Logo.
Look for this logo. Do a channel search. You guys were phenomenal. I don't know, I think it was last Saturday when we introduced the channel.
We need 100, and you guys like bump
it. You banged it. We're at 461, so we're halfway to where we need to be.
We need 1,000 people. Segue, Fernando.
Yeah, good segue, Fernando. Exactly. So if you guys, there again, we're putting up videos constantly. The other day I put up 15 new clips, and the nice thing about this is for those of you guys that are like, oh, it's an hour-long show. I don't have an hour to commit. Yep. You can go on there and you can watch a 3-minute video, a 2-minute video, a minute, 30-second video. So it's kind of cool. It's just fun. And
all right.
Why not? We're going to have a lot of free time, apparently.
Yeah.
We got no sports to watch. Not that I watch sports, but I can't even go to Disney.
Jason.
Okay.
Don't tell me what to do, Fernando. Go subscribe.
Go subscribe.
I'm sure
now. Stop what you're doing and go do it. Stop watching. Everyone, go do that.
No, don't do that. Right
okay.
Now. Just
all right.
Free time. Right now.
What's the difference between Stinger Roadkill Expert and Roadkill Ultimate?
No.
That's going to be a Fernando question. Good question.
I took like 3.
Does everyone notice now that like we're supposed to be washing our hands and not touching our faces that your face itch a lot more than they had before, or you just noticed how much
and
your
I'm
face
coughing
itches?
a lot, yeah.
Because like, oh my gosh. All right, so what we have here is, this is Stealth.
This is Stealth. This is the Ultimate.
And that's Ultimate. The difference between Stealth and the silver version of it, this is black.
It's color, that's it.
We buy black. And supposedly it's like a micron thinner because they're using that to pay for the paint because I think they're the same amount of money. So what we have here is we have the aluminum base and then the butyl rubber, the sticky black stuff on the back side of it. Love this stuff. This is what we use all the time. We don't use anything else other than that. And then this
is the Ultimate.
Is the Ultimate. Now the Ultimate is the same as this, but it adds a
foam, a layer of foam.
Piece of foam. This stuff right here. Now what we like to use this stuff on is obviously a rear deck, the inside of a door panel.
Gio.
So when we're doing, like when you see him rubbing inside of a door panel, on the actual plastic door panel, we're using this stuff because it's more rigid and it stretches just a little bit. And this is going to be what's pressing up against this in the car. So we don't want metal on metal that could possibly make creaky sounds. So now we have foam on metal. So that's this. It's also, as you can see, all right, hold on, let me do this. So I'll hold it from here.
Yep.
And it took a little bit longer. Now if I hold this one,
well, it's too.
Well, yeah, but as you can see, this doesn't. It's just okay. So it's not as thick. This is a little bit more rigid. More rigid means good, right? Isn't that what all this means? Okay.
All right. Sound dampening. All right, I have this one. Ryan Ward, thank you so much. $5. My subwoofer cuts in and out in a low volume. 2017 Tundra, factory radio, LC 4.800, Scar RP 1200. For a Pioneer shallow subs, you guys are awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
So the subwoofer cuts in and out at low volume.
And,
wait a minute. So factory radio.
It's a factory radio.
LC 4.800. Oh, the RP12 for Pioneer. Oh.
So he uses. I'm sure it's a dual one.
No, I got that. What I'm thinking is, okay. So I'm wondering if we're coming out of the LC 4.800 for the Scar amplifier.
And it's clipping.
No. It's the DC offset shutting off. I wonder if the DC offset is shutting off. So let's say I'm hoping that he came out of the LC 4.800 to power the 1200. If not, you're using the high level built into the. So check to see if the power light is shutting off when that happens. That's important here, is to see if the power light is shutting off. If the power light is shutting off, then that might be whatever you're using as a remote turn on, or if you're just using the DC offset. Might
say yes.
Okay,
out of the LC.
And I'm assuming the LC so the highs never shut off. Okay, so that's good. All right, so that solves that issue. I would still want to see if the amplifier is turning off.
The other thing that I can think of, it's like those amplifiers.
No, those amplifiers at low volumes.
At low volume.
So it shouldn't shut off like that.
No.
It shouldn't turn off. It shouldn't matter.
A low volume, 39, and the rated is 40. Just kidding.
So, but it's acting like it's acting like it doesn't see a signal,
right?
And it wants to turn off.
Check your ground. Maybe check your ground on the amplifier, on the sub amplifier. It's like probably one of those things that you already have good.
I wonder if it's a bad voice coil on the subwoofer. like I said, check to see if the power light is turning off.
lame.
Because, well, think of it this way. Let's say he's got a bad voice coil on the subwoofer,
Yeah.
and there's a burnt spot in it, and at low volumes, it's not actually the amp cutting off, it's the subwoofer jumping into the burnt gap. But then when you put a lot of power to it, it energizes the coil and pushes it out of that burnt gap.
Yeah.
If the power light's shutting off, then we know it's the amplifier. If the power light is staying on, then it might be the subwoofer.
There you go.
That's what I got. I don't know. Those are just some ideas. Give it a whirl. Disney close, get a refund on your seasonal tickets. You're funny, John.
Yeah, okay.
No, I hope they give us an extra month.
Of course, like Bobby is pissed because there's no
There's
Disney
nothing
today.
for Bobby to do.
Yeah. All right. Hello World 007. He just dropped $5. Thank you. How's the sound quality?
Yes, it does, Justin. Yes, it does. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Start.
All right. Hello World 007. How's the sound quality on the JBL BassPro hub? I'm looking for the SQ more than the thumb. Loudness will work with the Audio Frog GS62 coaxials. I mean, that...
Okay, I'm not going to say it's for SQ. It's definitely not for SQ.
No.
Think of it as a... Okay, so there was a product a couple years ago called an Aura Bass Shaker. And they still make them. They're those things that you mount into like your couch, and then you attach them to a solid surface, and it's basically just the motor section of a subwoofer.
Yep.
So it's designed to just vibrate things. It's half that and then half a subwoofer. If you're sitting in the same area as the subwoofer, so like a hatchback or an SUV or something like that, and a small SUV, like 2 rows and then the back, you're going to get a decent amount of bass out of it, but you're not going to get anything that you're not going to be like SQ moving the sound forward to make it sound like the subwoofer's coming out of the front of the car. That's not going to happen. It's really designed around... I like to call it that alarm clock bass, or that, like that Bose bass where you have a little speaker and it oh my gosh, that sounds really good. That's kind of what it's doing. So for most people, when you put it in the car and you got like a set of 6.5s and you set in the back and you add that, it's like, oh, this sounds nice and full. But it's not that sealed 12-inch with 500 watts to it, like bass that is just like you can hear every note kind of sound.
Right.
It's just convenient.
All right. Michael Bartley. I'm sorry. $5. Thank you so much. Kenwood DMX 906S. Wireless screen mirroring with the Android phone. What's the latest on the getting this feature to work? Later Android update, kill it.
I'm not gonna lie. They're not talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Everyone that has an old radio, as far as that goes, none of the manufacturers care. So they're only talking about what's going to be coming on the newer versions of the radio. So like it's a whole new software kit for the newer models than for the previous model. Because they had to update it in order for Apple to be put into the mix. So what you're going to see is the newer radios are going to have a whole nother way to do it. It all comes down to copy protection. That's what all this headache is about. It's about somebody that has DRM rights to a media that gets streamed over this, and they get all bent out of shape, and they go to the manufacturer, like Android, with that operating system. They say, hey, you're letting this happen. And they go, we'll fix it. And they axe the whole thing. So... yeah, and that's always been an issue. It has been an issue since we started doing this, when nothing had HDMI, all the way up to now. It's just been a crazy thing that has just been non-stop, like, this is never going to work, and it's never going to work right.
All right. This is a good question, Jim, and probably Fro just asked that, but I'm going to say it so everybody can hear it. My Kenwood 9905 has 5-volt preamp. So do I need to set my amps as low?
Low or high level
input?
Inputs?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Low level. The common acceptance of an amplifier, meaning in this industry what we consider high level, what we consider low level, is there is a break point. So 10 volts would be high level, 5 volts would be low level, 8 volts would almost be high level, but it could be low level. There's really not, I don't know of any radios right now that put out enough voltage to be considered a high level output. Some manufacturers will tell you that's why you should use the actual amplified output from the radio to go into our amplifier, so you can give it 10 volts of input, and then you go, yeah, that doesn't make sense because that amplified output is crap, so don't do that.
Right.
But no, in your case with 5 volts, that's a low level, run it low level. Now, there are some amplifiers that don't like 5 volts because they're geared towards 4 volts. Alpine is one of them. They have a hard time sometimes with that. That's why devices such as like a DSP sometimes give you the ability to go in and adjust the voltage output so you don't overload the input sections of some of these amplifiers.
All right. Justin Murphy just dropped the $5. Thank you, man. From Justin. Can you do a heat shrink?
Yeah, okay. Hold on.
Heat shrink diameter, size to wire gauge, size chart. Basically, which goes which.
You can't whisper because then I can't reuse it as a
I'm
question.
sorry.
I know. So basically what he's asking for is a heat shrink diameter wire gauge chart. Basically which goes on which. I've been asked this. So I think what he's talking about is maybe doing a chart on, well, we've done videos.
Yes.
We've done plenty of videos. We actually have a whole video on that, Justin, where we show the whole thing, where we take that and that. But I think what he probably wants us to do is do something like that and then post it onto the 12 Volt Clean Wire Club on Facebook. So maybe we'll do that.
Okay, like a little clip?
Like a little
Just
clip of
doing
this is what we use for this size wire.
10 to 1?
Yeah, 10 to 1. 10 to 1 for sure. We just buy a half-inch 10 to 1 and it fits over everything.
I know.
That would be awesome. I'm not going to lie,
awesome,
man. But I can tell you that would shrink down to some really hard shrink wrap on an 18-gauge wire.
All right.
Yeah, okay, I'll work on that. Maybe come up with some cool artwork.
And DJ, it's on the top right now. DJ, he dropped another $5.
Okay.
How many boxes, if you roadkill, do I need to the whole 2015 Camry? I have the Stinger trunk, kill.
200 kit.
Yeah, 4 doors. Normally, if I go crazy with the roadkill.
Well, think of it this way. We've actually done this car.
Yeah.
So when that car first came out with the JBL system, we had that guy come in and we did his 2 front doors and we did his 2 rear doors and then we did his rear package tray. Yeah. And we used both stealth and ultimate. So on each door you use how many pieces of stealth?
3 for the stealth.
3 pieces of stealth,
yes.
And then a piece
and
and a half of ultimate?
One piece of the ultimate.
So
for
that's
the outside door panel.
Okay, so that's 1 piece of
one
piece of ultimate,
3 pieces of
3
that.
pieces of stealth per door.
Per door.
So that's 12 pieces of stealth and 4 pieces of ultimate.
Correct.
Okay. Now
for
keep
the
in mind,
trunk,
when you buy these, you can buy the bulk kit, and that's how we buy them. So when we're saying a sheet, it's the sheet that comes out of the bulk kit.
Yeah. Now for the trunk, or for the
the trunk,
the trunk lid.
Well, not the trunk lid, the rear deck.
The rear deck. Use the ultimate
on both sides.
On both sides, yes.
4 pieces, or 3 pieces.
It's 1, 2. 3. I'm gonna say 4 pieces just to be exactly covered.
So I've already lost. So that's 8 pieces of this. Now, in the actual trunk lid itself,
hi, Mom.
You're gonna need. On the trunk lid itself, you're gonna need probably another 2 pieces of stealth up inside the trunk lid, and then you figure a piece on the side, a piece on the side, 3 to 4 pieces across the floor up the back.
Now, keep in mind, you can never have enough. If you have like,
and I've lost count, so I got nothing.
Yeah. So,
but there you go. I already deaded my trunk. Okay, in its
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just used 36 square feet, just 2 doors. Depends on how crazy you go. Well, Fro apparently just did the ultimate baked potato, as I like to call it, where you cover every square inch. And sometimes guys like to double up, so it's like they'll do a layer and they'll do a layer on top of it, go in the other direction, so that you have maximum craziness.
And like Robert Benhoy said, different cars.
Different acoustics.
Different acoustics, yes.
Stinger does loans for Roadkill. Must use.
Yeah.
I know, right? And I gotta be honest with you, there is no good cheap stuff. I know there's a lot of guys out there that are like, I found this stuff that it's like,
please don't do it.
Yeah, okay, cool. Hopefully it won't peel off. But speaking of stuff that hasn't peeled off, remember that really heavy stuff we got in Indy last year?
Yep.
Have you seen it on the back door?
No.
It's been on there for almost a year now. It has turned into a rock. Because remember we put it on and immediately peeled it
off.
off? It's been baking out there for a year now. We'll never get that. We'll need a chisel to get that stuff off. So apparently it needed to just cure for a while. But yeah.
Okay.
Waited all week on the video about the new Roadkill Evos. Did you guys do that this week or what? What the heck happened, Fernando?
What happened?
Nothing. We didn't do it this week.
No.
Basically what happened this week with all the excitement in the world that was going on, Dean was in a kind of an odd mood because he just had to, or he still has to do, he just found out that his whole next 2 months of fun and excitement that are going to happen got canceled because apparently there's stuff going on that is beyond everyone's control and we're all just losing our minds.
And this is update. Yeah.
So, in case anybody knows.
Knowledge Fest?
Yes. So Knowledge Fest has been canceled till July.
Rescheduled, yes.
Rescheduled till July. Indy will be in July, which will be there. And then DAS, who knows when that's going to happen, but I got to make a bunch of calls too. There was another one that just popped up.
See
that one?
Right here.
Okay. Anyways, don't worry. Next week, you're going to get your Evos. I promise. That's my schedule for next week is Evos. You're going to get one video that we've been talking about for a while, which is on plastics. So there's always a million questions about plastics.
Yes.
We made it. I think this is the second one we made, but we made another video just talking about plastics, how we use them, what we use them for, how we drill them, the size drill bits, the speeds, and all that fun stuff. So we got that coming out. So stay tuned for that next week. Along with we get to see some Evos.
All right, Christian Harris just dropped $4.99. Thank you so much. 2019 Sportage. Can you run a standard double din or do I have to use a slim double din? Can figure it out to pull the factory one out. Okay, so you want a slim radio.
What year is it?
2019 Sportage.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go to metroonline.com because we talk about this page all the time. And as you can see here, Hyundai, model, Sportage. Do they even list a Sportage? They do not list a Sportage at all for a Hyundai 2019. So that tells me only bad things when we don't see what we want. So we can move over here and we'll change the year to an 18 because sometimes the cars are the same. Sometimes they are not. Hyundai. Let's see if there's Sportage. Are we sure it's
Sportage?
Sure it's not a Kia?
I mean, Sportage.
I don't know.
What's a Sportage? It's like a fast car.
No, Sportage. That's that little SUV.
I know.
Goofball.
I'm just
Sportage. It's a Kia. All right, there we go.
Kidding.
You had it wrong. All right, so we got EX, LX, or we'll go LX because we'll get parts. Let's see what they list here. All right, so they have parts for that car.
Kia.
Yeah, it's a Kia. Got it.
Kia Sophia.
All right, so they make two different ones. They make the LX 2017-19 with base radio, and they make the 2017-2019 non-nav display radio with the touch, which is the big expensive dash right here. What you do is pick one of those, scroll down. Here's your antenna adapter. Here is your harness into the car. And it looks like it has backup camera retention and the ability to add their steering wheel control module to it. This is there again without nav, without display radios. There's your reverse harness, your 71, so you could make a T harness if you needed to. And there is your digital signal processor if you wanted to add into the factory radio. So one of these two dash kits here will take a double DIN. If you click view details, it'll zoom in, and if you come over here, it'll give you a picture of the dash so you can see. Here's the kit. Here's the dash that it replaces. So all this information is available there, and hopefully one of those will help you find what it is you're looking for.
All right, and we are in 53 minutes and running. I know, right?
Well, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Okay, hang
you
on
zoom
right
in and then you didn't zoom back out.
I know.
You're killing me, bro.
I just want to show. Okay, thank you, Justin Garcia. He just said you guys are awesome. Thank you for all the great content. Thank you, man. Thank you. He just dropped $5. And
25 to Life is having a whole different show this day than what everyone else is having. He's just having a good time in there, and I appreciate the humor that you're throwing out. I'm reading them. Awesome. I'm reading them. Yeah. There again, not a big McNugget fan. Haley was, and I would eat him from there. But other than that, 2019 Ford Ranger, is there a way to remove and enhance engine sound from the audio system? Yes. So, all right. There's a product. There's two ways you can fix a Ford. All right.
Okay.
You can go to the dealer and you can pay an hourly rate, which is about $140, and you can ask them nicely to remove the fake engine sound from your car. They're going to give you grief, but they'll eventually do it because you're going to pay them $140 to do something quite simple. The second way to do it was a software product called ForScan. ForScan, you go on Amazon, you buy. Buy this thing here. There again, we bought it just because. We buy this.
Fang of the truth. What's up?
You buy this thing here. It has a little toggle switch on it, and it plugs into your laptop. And you download ForScans. These are like $25. You download the ForScan software to your computer. It's someplace out of Russia, I think, is where it comes from. You go onto YouTube and you Google the numbers. So what you're going to get up is an analog screen that's going to have a bunch of ones and zeros. You have to pick your thing, and there's usually a number that you change, which is going to turn on and off that fake noise.
Yeah. $2 from DJ. Thank you. This is for being you guys. Thank you, man. Thank you for the support.
That's easy enough.
If you guys going to support, please go to the YouTube. Dean and Fernando, Car Stereo Clips. Here, this is the logo. Go subscribe. It's a ton of content. Good questions. Subscribe.
Oh, we had 10 people go on so far this show. Awesome. So for those of you that haven't, or for those of you that did it last night or last week, thank you so much for doing it. For those of you that haven't, what the heck, man? Come on.
And Freud's on point. Look at that.
All right. So what we have is we're going to end the show. We have D&F Tool Drawers, a place you can find all the cool tools that we use. Maybe one day I should have that up here. Teespring/store size 5-star. You can get cool shirts like these. This is the new Patriotic. Get it for July. July is right around the corner. You want to look cool on the 4th of July. You want to have this shirt. You want to represent. It's awesome. Or it's just a fun shirt. Comes in cool blue. We also have the Clean Wire Club up there. For those of you guys that are, Facebook, 12-volt Clean Wire Club. You become a member. I think we're up to like 600 some odd members. Yeah. You guys keep posting awesome pictures. That's cool. Asking cool questions. Lots of fun there. Yep. Patreon is a place you can go to support the show. What am I missing?
Thank you for all the support today.
You guys have been phenomenal today. I think I'm going to take next week off and pretend like I'm sick.
Oh, really?
No, are you crazy? That'll never happen.
I'm like, oh, wow. Wow.
Thank you guys so much for supporting the show in all the ways you do. It's been great. It's been fun. But it's the weekend. It's Saturday night. What does that mean, Fernando?
Don't drink. Don't
Honestly,
drive.
See, all right. So here's the deal. Most of you are going to stay at home.
Stay home. Yeah, exactly.
With your hordes of toilet paper. And that means you don't have to call Uber or Lyft. You can just chill out, drink at home, have a good time.
Just don't get
catch
the
up on your
paper.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Ooh, Spencer, the Spencer Chronicles. If you guys haven't watched that one, it's the it's the remake of Spencer for Hire with Robert Urich, Avery Brooks as Hawk. You got to check it out. It's freaking awesome.
Alpha 2011.
My money's in quarantine.
I love it.
I think mine is too. It's called My Wife. But all right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for playing along. Thank you so much for donating to the cause.
25 Hertz to live. Thank you, man, for supporting the show.
Thank you for making it funny in the comments tonight.
Everything, guys. Thank you. See you guys on Monday, 6:30 Eastern Standard on Facebook.
Yeah, it's just gonna be us. There's no guests because no one wants to come here. They're all scared.
Yeah. Of me.
No, they don't want to go anywhere.
Anyways.
I mean, we can't. Ooh, scary. Can't go
all right,
outside.
Rick Dawson, he just dropped $2. Thank you for the show, man. Thank
Rick
you, guys.
Rick is ending it on an up note. Here's a tip for the show, and here's a tip for you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.